Hi, this is Phil, and I'm here to tell you all about the Capes and Lunatics Patreon. Get early access to all of our interviews, including the monthly Chichester chats with writer and comic book legend D.G. Chichester, new episodes of classic Capes and Lunatics shows, including The Quantum Zone, This, That, or the Third, and many, many more specials, all completely uncensored. Access starts for $3 a month, full video when you pledge $5 a month. Check out the link in our show notes or go to patreon.com/capesandlunatics. Hope to see you there. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Bots and Joes, all about your classic Marvel Comics Transformers and G.I. Joe. I know it's been a while. It's me, Phil, but yeah, we've had a lot of great stuff this year, great interviews on the podcast, and just a lot of great content. I haven't been able to get back, but as I said in the last episode of Spawn Universe, I plan to get back to this show, to Spawn Universe, so... All right, so this one will probably be a quick one because I know last time, which was probably way back in March, I said we do 21 through 30, but I figured that since issue 21 is it's not a big one page count wise, but it's probably the most famous issue of G.I. Joe ever from any comic company, or even I think even people who never read a G.I. Joe comic but are comic fans know what this issue is. And so, yes, if you're any kind of comic fan, you probably know what G.I. Joe 21 is, but I figure this one deserves some its own attention, its own, discussion about its place in history. So, and if you don't know, stay tuned because you're about to find out. All right, so, and again, if you are a fan of Transformers and G.I. Joe, stay tuned. It's not going to be on a regular basis, but Energon Universe will return where myself and my co-hosts, Justin and Russell, talk the comics that are coming out of the Energon Universe over at Image Comics. And then we've already been discussing maybe doing some live watches on here of the animated Transformers and G.I. Joe movies, some of the classic episodes. So, like some of the big miniseries for both shows. So stay tuned for that. So yes, again, just keep your eye on the Capes Lunatics podcast for all your Transformers and G.I. Joe needs. All right, so let's get into G.I. Joe, A Real American Hero, issue 21. And for, like I said, for those of you who don't know, this is the one that's the silent issue. Yes, not only is it known for not only as a badass Snake Eyes story, but yes, it is the silent issue, written and drawn by Larry Hama. So I'd love to talk. I would love to talk to Mr. Hama about his decades long G.I. Joe journey. But yes, issue 21 would be a big topic for discussion. So if anyone can help me get talk to Larry, that would I'd be much appreciate. Very appreciative of that. All right, so let me get some info here for you for G.I. Joe number 21. All right, so G.I. Joe, A Real American Hero number 21, cover date March 1984. Silent Interlude is the title. As I said, writer and penciler Larry Hama, inker Steve Leola, colorist George Rosas, letterer Rick Parker, and editors Denny O'Neil and Linda Grant. So, yes, also famous, very famous name here, and editor Denny O'Neil. All right, so here's the description of it. Again, kids, no dialogue in this issue at all. Storm Shadow brings a captive Scarlett to Destro's castle in the Balkans, where she is taken away by Cobra Commander. Snake Eyes then jumps out of a C-130 plane and lands on the castle's roof. while Scarlett is chained up in a small cellar accessible only through a hole in the ceiling. Storm Shadow touches her face and she bites him. In another room, Destro watches as a computer analyzes the C-130's moves and deduces the probability of a successful airborne insertion. Snake Eyes overpowers a guard on the roof while Scarlet picks the locks on her chains with with a hairpin. Storm Shadow tries to follow her, but is attacked and pulled inside the cellar by Scarlet with the chains. Snake Eyes disposes of several troops on the roof and takes the place of one of them, while Storm Shadow escapes the cellar and summons 3 red ninjas. Scarlet attacks 2 troopers transporting the claw and takes the glider for herself, while Snake Eyes defeats the red ninjas and confronts Storm Shadow on the roof. As they take off, Storm Shadow spots a red tattoo on Snake Eyes' forearm that is identical to his own, which again will play a big part in the backstory of both of these gentlemen going forward in the series here. Snake Eyes storms a Cobra's compound to save an abducted Scarlet from Storm Shadow, but she has already broken free and helps her comrade during the escape. So yes, kids, great Snake Eyes story, great, but again, Scarlet not being the damsel in distress, rescuing herself kind of too. We get more on the shadowy figure Storm Shadow, who, yes, we will discover more of going forward. Let's see, what else do we got? Oh yes, and I said the Fang, which yes, as a lot of you probably know, but we'll see it in the comics going forward, and even in the animated series, it's the jet powered hang glider that you'll see various Cobra agents, including Cobra Commander himself, use. So that's the first appearance of it in the comics, which I believe. Oh, the claw. I'm sorry, not the Fang. The claw. I think I'm thinking of another vehicle. Yeah, the claw. It's the. But yes, it was. Yes, in the comics and the G.I. Joe animated series, which the animated series probably made more of. But the claw stands for Covert Light Aerial Weapon. According to the file here, yes, small and fast, can easily evade aerial radars. It flies below radar range. And before the Joe team is alerted to its presence, it's too late as it pulls off its mission. Flying the machine, though, is no mean feat. It may basically be a hang glider with rockets, but it takes the steeliest of operators to keep up with the speed and from crashing into a tree or a building wall. So, yes, kids, think about a basically a cross between a hang glider and whatever the hell those drones are in New Jersey. Thank you. All right. But yeah, I mean, this is, like I said, this is a big thing. People talk about this issue to this day. It's a very valuable. This again, I don't know. We'll have to see. With the exception of issue 1, this might be the most valuable GI Joe comic. Again, just because it's so different and it's so coveted. I'd say if a Joe fan had their choice between any issue, this would probably rank up there with most people. Like I said, besides issue 1. And again, like sometimes, like years later, I know there was a whole month in the early 2000s where Marvel did like silent issues and stuff. But again, a lot of what Marvel did with any silent issues was inspired by this. And again, Larry Hama, legend, started it all here. All right. Okay. You want to know how they sold this back in the day, kid? Here's the solicit. No hype, no hard sell. G.I. Joe 21 will be the most unusual war comic ever published, and that's not because it chronicles Snake Eyes on a solo mission, not because the Danger is a toy that could wipe out the world. It's not because Larry Hama both penciled and wrote this once in a lifetime issue either. You must buy it to find out. And again, you younger people watching this may not know, but like back in the 80s, like when I was a kid, we had like TV commercials for this comics. Not this specific issue, but like early G.I. Joe comics. Yeah, we got like, I would assume that it has more to do with like Hasbro than the Marvel side. But yeah, we got commercials for the G.I. Joe comic. I don't think we got any for Marvel, but or Transformers. But yeah, G.I. Joe, I remember. And this also takes place at the Silent Castle. Uh, this is yes, it's the Cobra stronghold located in the mountains of Transcarpathia. Uh, yeah, the Silent Castle is the name they usually use in the comics. Uh, Again, and it's in Transcarpathia, but we don't even learn the location of this castle until issue 120, so almost 100 issues from now. So, um, and again, it was shut down for a long time because after this Snake Eyes' insertion to get Scarlett, yeah, Cobra Commander kind of shuts the place down because he feels it's too vulnerable. Which you wouldn't think of like Castle in the Mountains, but there you go. And in the G.I. Joe animated series, the Real American Hero animated series, it is referred to as the Cobra Temple. Mm, and again, and the its appearance in the animated series again probably came first. Again, if you give it a year for like production and everything, so yeah, the animated series came first. Mm. And again, for a while, Cobra Commander makes a deal basically. I don't know if he sells it or gives it, but yes, Destro takes yeah, possession of the castle. And again, Destro, after a while, kids will become like a third force kind, of his own thing. He's not beholden to Cobra Commander or Cobra anymore. So yeah, I would assume that's maybe that starts the split again. But again, Destro is always in it for himself, and again, it doesn't matter what version it's if it's this comic series, the Marvel comic series, if it's the animated series, if it's the current Energon universe. Yeah, Destro is always waiting to, him and that Destro and Cobra Commander are always basically uneasy allies at the most, which I would say every ally of Cobra Commanders is probably uneasy ally at best. So all right, so there you have it. But I was also thinking I was going to look up some I'm going to look up some values on because remember I said, oh, I don't know what was more valuable, this issue or GI Joe #1. So I'm on eBay right now, kids. Again, I'm doing this live, so sorry about that. Should have had these numbers beforehand. All right, so GI Joe #1. Oh, if anyone knows a good deal on the GI Joe Real American Hero special #1, yeah, I'd love to get my hands on one of those. The cheapest one I see is like $30. It's a foil cover and it's got, I guess it's a McFarlane cover. It's Snake Eyes crouching on the cover, kind of like Spider-Man or Spawn or in that McFarlane style. Oh yeah, that's what I thought. A 9.8 graded copy of GI Joe Real American Hero #1 is over $1,000 on eBay. It looks like you can get I guess slightly. You can get a 9.4 for 160 kids. That's not bad. Uh, and then there's another 9.4 on sale for 237. So, yes, so the original, the one that started it all, GI Joe Real American Hero #1, you can get it for anywhere from 160 to over $1,000, depending on it's again, half a grade makes all the difference. You wouldn't think, but well, I do, but a lot of people might be surprised at that. All right, so let's see what the price on this issue is. You can get a grade of an 8 for 192.50. There's also one for 199. You get a 9.4 for 199. There's one graded at another 8 for 215. So this one, yeah, it's not as valuable as #1, but yeah, still you're still spending at least $100 on this thing. Probably at the least. And again, there's been other this thing I think has been reprinted. Again, there's collections of like the entire Marvel run, and I think there was a 40th anniversary issue, just a special just on this issue. That's how special this this special this thing is. That yes, this thing got its own anniversary, celebration and edition. Uh, it's history making. That's why I just didn't want to lump it in with I think I was going to do like 9 or 10 issues this episode, but yeah, no, I really didn't want to lump in. Yes, again, this is a piece of comic history. Forget GI Joe history. Yeah, comic book history. Like I said, people who've never read a GI Joe comic, who've never touched a GI Joe comic, know what this thing is. So, all right. So, like I said, I just wanted to do one issue, quick episode. But again, next time when I come back, I'll do 22 through 30 because I was going to do 21 through 30 this time. So yes, we'll do 22 through 30, and then after that, I think we're going to start diving into more Transformers. I'm trying to do this at publication, as they were published. So yes, I believe after we do 21 through 30 next time, then we'll start getting into the Transformers and along with the American Marvel Transformers. I also want to get into some issues that I really haven't read yet, like the the Marvel UK Transformers. So we'll get into some of that because a lot of those were reprints of the American stories. But I'll start deep dives in this stuff that was original to the Marvel UK stuff. So we'll kind of compare, how and when, the American and the UK versions kind of segue from each other. All right. And of course, we'll be here for at least the Marvel G.I. Joe run, which was 155 issues. So yeah, we still have a long way to go on those, kids. So all right. So yes, send me your thoughts on heck on issue 21. Send me your thoughts on the upcoming stuff, 22 through 30. If anyone would like to be co-host for this show, let me know. Again, I'm glad to just be here. If nothing else, please send me your feedback. Again, you can send audio, let the world hear your voice, and if you're too shy and you don't want to do it live, you can always send me your recorded feedback, and I can play it, and we can discuss it. And again, send me some of your favorite GI Joe moments. Again, in the last three, that's in this episode, in the last two, we covered the first 21 issues of GI Joe. So send me your favorite moments from those first 21 issues. Just send me your random Transformers and GI Joe thoughts. All right. And if you want to send me those thoughts, please send them to CapesandLunatics at gmail.com or call the voicemail 614-382-2737. That's 614-38-CAPES. You can both the email and the voicemail number are both scrolling across the bottom of the screen on this video. Or if you're just listening to the audio of this, or the video, or watching the video, again, it's always in the show notes of every show we do. So yes, CapesandLunatics at gmail.com or 614-382-2737. All right. And of course, like I said, we can find us on our YouTube channel. You can find us on our audio podcasts. Everything is on either Capes and Lunatics or Capes and Lunatics Sidekicks for the audio stuff. You can buy merchandise. All our merchandise is on TeePublic or Spring. We have a random Cash App link, which you can find the link to in the show notes if you just want to be very generous and send us money. Or again, we have a Patreon where one of my co-hosts, Lilith, and I give you exclusive uncensored content every month. And when you do subscribe to the Patreon, you can suggest topics for us to discuss, because again, a lot of our most of our podcasts are about comics, but on Patreon anything goes. Pretty much no subject is taboo. So, well, keep it legal, kids. But yes, yeah. But when you subscribe to the Patreon, you can suggest topics, and we'll put you on the waiting list, because we have people always sending in topics, like our friend Justin, our friend Ray from Australia. So Yes. So you can find the Patreon, subscribe to the Patreon at patreon.com/capesandlunatics. And you can find social media for, the Capes and Lunatics podcast network is on all social media: Facebook, Blue Sky, Instagram. If it's a social media, you can probably find us on their Threads. Capes Lunatics sidekicks are on Instagram. And of course, the Evil X. I don't use it as much anymore, but we're there. So, all right. All right. I was going to say thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining me once again for a stroll down Marvel Comics G.I. Joe history, especially this very historic issue. And again, please send me your feedback. I love it. Love to talk to you, even if it's not in person. CapesandLunatics at gmail.com or 614-382-2737. Again, favorite characters, favorite moments. Or email me. Show me your kick-ass merchandise. All right. Yo, Joe.